Good afternoon and welcome to the very first Tasty at Home. Now, typically during Teen Summer Reading, every Friday at 2 p.m. we would have Tasty together in the SPL Community Room. Unfortunately, this summer we can't cook together, but we thought we would bring the recipes directly to you in your own home. I'm Em, and I'm going to show you today how to make 2 recipes inspired by the world of Harry Potter in honor of Teen Summer Reading Fantasy Week.
You will need the following ingredients: either a prepared pie crust or one that you make yourself, butter, cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, pure pumpkin puree, so not the pumpkin pie stuff, but just the general good old pureed pumpkin. You're going to need 1 grade A large egg, sugar, flour, and of course a baking sheet. We're going to be whipping up some pumpkin pasties. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Then, either grease a cookie sheet or line it with parchment paper. Empty about half of the can of pumpkin puree into a bowl. Mix in a tablespoon of almost melted butter. Add a teaspoon of cinnamon and a half teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. And finally, add your 2 tablespoons of sugar. Give it a good stir and mix all the ingredients together until it's all well combined. Set your pumpkin filling aside and dust a dry surface with a little bit of flour. Using a rolling pin, roll your pie crust to about an 1/8 inch thick. It can be a little thicker, but you don't want it to be too thick because otherwise it won't cook properly. You can use a rolling pin, or if you don't have one, you can use a thick dowel rod like we're using here. Just roll it out and make sure that your pie crust is not sticking to your surface. Feel free to add more flour if you need to. Once your pie crust has been rolled out to the desired thickness, use a cup or a cookie cutter to cut out rounds. You can make it 4 inches or a little bit bigger, whatever you desire. Each round just cut out and set aside. When you've cut out from the rolled pie crust, you can re-roll it out so that you have more space to make more rounds. Place your pie rounds on the cookie sheet. Then add about a half spoonful of filling to each one. Doesn't have to be exact. You want to put it right in the center. From there, you're going to fold each pasty in half around the filling and carefully crimp around the edges. Desired is to make a seam so that none of that delicious filling leaks out. When you're done, they should all be crimped and folded, and then there's just 2 more steps. Take a fork or a small knife and just create some vents on each pasty. These vents will allow steam to escape and allow your pasties to cook more evenly. Oh, missed one. All right. For the last step, whisk a little bit of water into 1 egg. That's going to be your egg wash. Then, either using a pastry brush or just a spoon out a little bit of the egg wash and just kind of smear it over each of your pastries. You don't need too much. Just a little light glaze. Okay, we have our egg wash on, we've got each pastry vented, double check your crimps, and then you'll be ready to put them in the oven. Put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Keep an eye on them, they may cook a little faster depending on their size.
While we wait for our pasties to bake, we might want something refreshing to drink. And what could be more refreshing in the world of Harry Potter than butterbeer? I'm going to show you how to make your very own butterbeer at home. And don't worry, there is absolutely no alcohol content in this butterbeer recipe.
You're going to need cream soda. To get that delicious, buttery, beery taste, we're going to need 2 extracts, rum extract and butter extract. Don't just melt butter and pour it into your cream soda because that's going to end up tasting kind of gross. What would butterbeer be without its delicious whipped topping? For that, you will need heavy whipping cream and marshmallow cream of any type. I like Kraft Jet Puffed, but whatever you want to use. You can go without this and just drink the soda as is, but it's definitely more delicious with the topping. And our pasties are all ready to go. With the pumpkin pasties, you'll know that they're done because they'll look brown and crispy. You can see that we did get a little bit of break on one of them, but that's okay. It'll still be delicious. There's nothing uncooked here. The egg wash has cooked nicely, so they are safe and ready to eat. So, there's a couple different ways you can make this. You can mix the flavors in the bottle itself, but I prefer to kind of adjust my flavors as I like them. So take your cream soda and pour it into a glass or cup. You don't want to pour all the way to the top because you want to leave some room for that delicious topping. Then add about a teaspoon of butter extract and a half teaspoon of the rum extract. Mix. You want to get those flavors nice and distributed, and if you smell butter in the air, that's that butter extract. It is very powerful, so you're not going to need too much in there. Again, these are the ratios of flavor that I like. If you taste this and you're like, I want more of the rum extract flavor or more of the butter or less, feel free to play with the recipe. There's no one way to make this. Drop about 2 big spoonfuls of the marshmallow cream into a bowl. Add about, I'd say 3 to 4 drops of the rum extract into the cream. And then you're going to add about a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. So you can do this with a fork if you don't have an electric mixer, but admittedly, having an electric mixer like this makes it a lot simpler to make your topping. Your goal is to have a topping that's kind of thick so that you can put it right on top of your butterbeer. So if you take your mixer and kind of plop it out, if the cream is making these peaks, like standing peaks, that means that it's getting thick enough to use as your topping. These are a little soft, so we might want to keep whipping for just another minute or 2 and get those thickened up a bit, and then it'll be ready to use. So then, just add the topping to your drink. And there you have it, a snack fit for an afternoon at Hogwarts. A nice cold glass of butterbeer and a couple of pumpkin pasties. I hope that you enjoyed this first tasty at home. We'll be back next week with a mysterious recipe in honor of Mystery Week. Until then, check out everything else that we have going on at www.tiny.cc/SPLTSR20 or check out swickleylibrary.org to see the full calendar of events for teens, children, families, adults, people of all ages. Hope to see you very soon.